Hello YouTube and people who watch my channel, fellow alternative people, artists, whoever you are. Um, this is Mystical Melantha with a new video. I'm going to be doing a sketchbook tour today. And this is my current sketchbook, which isn't completely finished, but it's almost finished, and I'm very eager to show it. So I'm just going to get started right away. And this is my cover. This is one of the many collages I have made, and I thought it was very fitting for this whole sketchbook in general. Just very much matches my art style and my collage style, colors, and like designs and things that I like on the front. This is one of my art pieces as a little print. I put it on here. These are two of my characters from a book I'm writing. This is another art piece of mine, just as a small little print. And this is a word from one of my art pieces. Everything else is stickers and things I found to glue onto the cover. And then this is an old garbage CD, not usable, so I thought instead of like throwing it away, I've been trying to find uses for old CDs that don't work, like blank CDs, and then I put a spider in the middle. I thought it went really well with the web design, and I painted the background and added all the spiderweb things and all that. I really love butterflies and spider webs, and you're going to see a lot of that in my sketchbook, especially butterflies. But anyway, let's get started. So here's the first page, and my real name is actually Sarah. I just used Melantha as a username, basically. In fact, Melantha actually means dark flower in Greek, and I thought it flowed really well with the whole Mystical Melantha thing. It used to be Mysterious Melantha, but I think Mystical Melantha is a bit more fitting for me now because I'm not as shy as I used to be when I was younger. So I recently changed my name, my username. But anyway, yeah, this is Sarah Sketches, and I started this in 2023, right at the beginning of the year. So I've had the sketchbook for like a year and a half now, and it's almost done finally. This is a little butterfly that I drew on a different piece of paper, and I glued it in here. And then this is one of my favorite art pieces currently. This was an Inktober prompt a couple years ago. I think it was in 2023 that I drew this. This is a copy of it. This isn't the original print. But I thought it would be a perfect opening page because it's one of my favorites, and it's the prompt word was dream. So I used my characters from the story that I'm writing in this drawing. This is Ariane. She's my main character. And this is like her dreaming. And this is her dream on this side. If you can see, it's like kind of split on the page, so you can tell that she's like having a dream here, and this is just her sleeping on this side. And it's just her dreaming of a romance with the other character that she's in love with in the book. I'm probably going to be redrawing this at some point because I don't like how the perspective of it turned out, but other than the perspective looking a little bad, I like how it looks a lot. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, I rambled on this page a little too long, so let's continue on. These are just some song lyrics by a band called Elysion, and it was just some thoughts I was pondering that kind of go with this poem that I wrote here. And if you want to pause and read that, you can. It's just some thoughts I was having at the time about the inevitability of dying someday, and time, and just that, like, we don't live forever, and we should just try to use our time wisely because we never know when it's going to end, sort of thing. And then on the other side here, I'm going to cover this up because it's just some thoughts I was having that go along with the poem, but I don't really want to show that. And then I did this little drawing to go with the poem, and it has some of the lines from the poem, but it's like it's like a tunnel of time, or like a portal of time. Just something I kind of had in my head to go along with it. And then we have just kind of a random page here. There's going to be a lot of those in here. So a list of bands that I really like, and the backside has more of them. A lot of like goth rock and metal, dark wave. But this is a sketch of my fiance's cello, because he's learning how to play cello, and I've always liked the look of how cellos are crafted, so I decided to do a sketch of his cello. I'm probably gonna try it again some other time. It looks okay, but I know I can do better on that. And then we have some CDs here, and just like that, the metalhead hand, some musical notes. And then I actually made this envelope. My cousin was showing me how to make origami envelopes, and she had this paper that I used, so I made it into a little envelope. And I don't know, this is a print of one of my sketches from a different sketchbook. It's kind of hard to see, but it's kind of just random stuff. There's not really anything special in here. These are just like band logos, bands that are my favorites. I don't know why I put them in there. Just for something to look back on, I suppose. And then these are just stickers. And this page is some sketches of roses, purple ones, and I think they turned out very lovely. I love how this turned out. The black on the top was just to fill in the page, because I really didn't know what to draw there. And this is my 6 main characters from my story I'm writing, which I changed the name of the story. It was originally called Portal to the Unknown Darkness, but I came up with that name a long time ago, and I really don't like how it sounds anymore, so I'm going to be changing it to Vortex of Violet instead. But yeah, I have a sketch of my main characters, and I have a few more. I could probably do a whole video on this story, like some other time, because I have several different art pieces of my drawings of my characters, and I want to continue to make more drawings of them as I progress with my art skills. So I'm hoping they'll look better in the future. Not that they look bad here, I think they look okay, but they definitely could use some improvement still. And then these are just some ideas that I'm going to add to my story. My boyfriend wrote these little notes. He had these ideas. I thought it would be nice to add them to my story. This is a really shitty sketch of one of the ideas that just kind of popped into my head, and I just kind of wanted to get it on paper. So that's why it looks so bad, but I'll probably redraw it sometime. Very rough sketch, and then a flower here just because I was just drawing things and I like how it looks. These are my characters in like a different art style. I was trying it out just to see like how they would look in a different art style. I was trying to do something more cartoony looking, but I really don't like how these look, and I think that my other art style I normally do looks much better, so I'm not going to do this ever again, but this is how they turned out. And then here's another one. This isn't a character from my story, this is just a random person I drew, but I like her outfit. Not a fan of the art style, but I like her outfit, and I like the background that I came up with, and I like her hair. And this is just some ideas I had in my head. This is like a DIY project that I decided to do in real life. I'm still working on it. It's like a dream catcher that has spider webs, like a spider web pattern, and then it has like a CD in the middle and some lace and stuff around it. And this is like a rough sketch of the stuff hanging on the bottom of it. I have it about halfway finished, but putting the materials together was a lot harder than I was expecting, so I keep getting frustrated, I'm sorry. I keep getting frustrated, and haven't finished it yet. And I drew this too. Everything else is stickers and just like a little idea thing that I wrote down. I'm gonna cover this up. This is just events that I was interested in. And a little, what do you call it? Post-it with the butterfly that I drew on it at work probably when I was bored. And a poem, another poem that I wrote. I don't know how well you can see that. It's just another tragic, sort of short story poem that I came up with. And it has like an illustration that's not colored in that goes with it. I don't know how well you can see that because it's graphite, but it's just about, there's a couple and the girlfriend is a ghost because she passed away and the boyfriend misses her. So that's what the poem is about. And then this is just a weird experiment. I don't even know what I was doing here. It was extra paint that I put on a page, and I thought like I could try and do something with it, but I ended up trying to draw like a waterfall in white pen over it for some reason, and it just didn't look good at all. And this is all like stencils, or stamps, stamps. And then here's a sketch of some studded bracelets that I have, and a painting that I painted for somebody a while ago, and I don't have it anymore, but this is the photo of it. And then I have this as a big art piece on my wall. This is my drawing of the Draconian logo. It's a band, it's a gothic doom metal band that I really like, and I attempted to draw their logo and it turned out really, really good. So this is a small little print of it here. And I just took a picture of a band shirt that I have because I really like the art on it, and I put it in here with the logo, thought it would go with the page. And I like how these letters here turned out. That looks pretty cool. And these are just like things for, this is for the bracelets that I bought, and then this is for like the t-shirt that I bought. I don't know why I put them in there, I just did. I like to tape weird things in my sketchbook. And then we have, I was bored at work, so I drew this on a separate piece of paper and stuck it in here. And you're going to see that a lot because I have quite a few of those in here. And we have some coffins and some random little sketches. And this cute raven, I think he's adorable. This rose, I like how that turned out. It looks really nice. Just like a weird portal thing and like some splatters or something. I don't know. And then this is like a list of the songs that were my favorite at the time, February of 2024. I think I still like all of them, because usually I don't get over songs that quickly. It takes years, if at all. And some fashion sketches that I came up with. I like to draw those a lot too. And here's another board at work sketch. Tried to do a whole comic strip with a Sharpie, and I think it could have turned out better. I'm not used to drawing with Sharpies, but I think the little bat is adorable. And I mean, the pictures themselves don't look terrible, but I'm not very good at drawing small, so these two don't really look that great. But I tried. I've never really done comics before, so this is just kind of like me trying something new. And then we just have this really cool looking tree, which I love how this turned out. I think this is gorgeous. I could probably make that into a painting or something. And a butterfly. with the word ethereal right here, because I think it goes really well with my style and my art style and just like my soul in general. I kind of feel like being ethereal and listening to ethereal music and dressing like that are a big part of my personality, so it's very fitting. And here's a page with some photography that I took of art pieces in real life. So paintings, sculptures, things in books, all kinds of different things that I really wanted to take pictures of because I thought they were really wonderful art pieces to remember. And I probably have more that I didn't put in this book because I just have taken pictures of so many, but it's like a collection to remember and be inspired by all these beautiful pieces. And here's some more. I think I have 3 pages. This page, or the last page, this page, and then the next page is all photography of art people have made. And so you can see it better. This is like a mural, and I thought it was really cool looking. And this is a different mural from, I went to a Scottish fair, and this is like a Scottish themed mural that was there. And then also at the Scottish fair was like everything else on this page, but in particular there was these old, like tiny little, I think they were army figures or something, and they were all handmade, and they were tiny. So I was like, wow, whoever made those, that must have been really, really difficult. I can't imagine the craftsmanship and time that went into making these. And yeah, just some paintings and sculptures and things, and and then here's some more paintings and sculptures. There's like a park that has sculptures close to where I live. It's like 40 minutes away, and I've visited a few times, so that's where some of these pictures are from. And this is an album cover that I think is really pretty from a band that I really like called Blackbriar. They're a symphonic metal band. And then that's the end of the photos, and we're back to my art. So we have a cutout of a hummingbird from a magazine or something, I don't remember, but I drew it with Prismacolors here, and I didn't have enough room for the flower, but that's okay. I think it looks cute the way it is. And then we have a really dorky looking raven, and this like girl with wings. Some weird doodles that I drew when I was waiting around, and not really a fan of this page, but these look kind of cool. A lot of spider webs and things. And some more sketches. These are based off of photos I took, actually. I was bored at work again, so I just drew these nature sketches of photos I've probably taken on hikes and stuff. And we have, these both are based on photos. We have this bird in a tree, which I think I taped in the wrong photo. It looked really similar to the one that I looked at, and I accidentally printed the wrong one, but whatever. And this is a photo of me and my fiance. We came home after a Camelot concert, and we took this picture. So this is us dressed up for the concert, and I drew us. I really like how the drawing of us turned out. If you can't see it too well, might be a little more clear here. I know it's in graphite and it's not picking it up very well, so I'll show that a little bit better. And here are some more pictures of some of my characters from my story. And this is Ariane. and this is her friend Jaden, and this is Ariane again, and this is her love interest Holden, and then these are some drawings. They're prints of drawings from previous sketchbooks that I just like glued in here. And then here's a portal in the background because my story has something to do with portals. So I know that these could look a lot better. I was practicing drawing realistic looking people, and I haven't really gotten a ton of practice with that, so I know that they might look a little bit bad. I especially don't like how he turned out. I need to draw these characters a little bit better. I just need to practice this kind of style a little bit more. And my lighting is suddenly bad, so I'm gonna fix that. That looks a little better. Alright. And then we have some more doodles here. I like these ones a lot more than that other page. I especially like the flowers and the spiderweb butterflies here and the big spider web. I went to this like place, it's like a cafe where people can play games like Magic the Gathering, and my boyfriend is into that stuff, so I went with them just to check it out, even though I'm not into that kind of thing. But I was kind of just sitting there like waiting and kind of observing. So I was drawing this while I was there, and I tried to draw like the dice that they use, but it didn't really turn out too well. I like the rest of these though. Like these flowers here, I eventually redrew those and kind of expanded on how they look, and I want to use them for future art pieces because they were kind of like a design I came up with in my head. They look very like sharp and really cool looking. So I have them here. These are kind of more expanded on. I like how those turned out a lot. And then I think I drew them again later in the sketchbook. And then we have this, which is from a photo I took. It was a really cool looking flower. I like how this turned out with markers that I drew it with, and then the background is watercolor. This, on the other hand, I don't like how it turned out. This turned out very bad. I was trying to make a rose with acrylic. I'm guessing I was having a day where I just didn't feel like doing art or something, and I was going too fast, and this just doesn't look good. This looks... It looks very abstract and like I tried to do it way too fast. And we have a sketch of a fairy and some plants, and I was trying to do like a weird, I don't know, I came up with this weird idea in my head to try and do like a spider butterfly sort of thing, but it looks kind of weird. I'm not sure if I like how that turned out. But yeah, you just have this fairy lady. She's surrounded by a lot of like plants, and she's trying to pick a flower here. This could be one of my characters from my story, but I'm not really sure. And then we have some black paint as a background here, and I was trying to cover up a mess up page, so that's why the black paint is there. And I used a silver Sharpie to draw the tree and the moon and all that over the black paint because I wasn't really sure what else to do with the page. Just another like random little sketch here. You're gonna see a lot of trees and flowers and butterflies for little sketches that I have in here. So that's just another one of those random sketches. And then this is another character design for my story. The other characters that I showed you earlier, she goes with that story. And then here's like an abstract looking butterfly. I think it looks pretty cool. And my first attempt at drawing a bat flower, and this bat flower didn't turn out as good as I was hoping, but that's okay. I still think it looks nice, but I definitely like my second attempt a lot better. It just looks way nicer. And that would be this one right here. This is a print of the art piece that I made for it. It just looks so much nicer. I like the colors and just how it turned out, like, much better than that one. And then we have an eastern black swallowtail, which I used a reference photo from a nature book to draw this, so it looks pretty realistic, and I like how it turned out. Even with the marker, it still turned out really well. And just some more trees here, nothing special. And then some bats. They're adorable, especially this one. He's like hanging upside down somewhere. And just some like cartoony looking bats. This was from a card that my mom got me, so I just taped it in there. And I don't know why I stuck this in here. It was packaging from a Halloween cookie cutter shaped like a bat, and it was just in with my weird collage stuff, so I was like, I'll just tape this here. I don't really know why, but whatever. Then we have a collage page here, which I like how this one turned out a lot. This is really pretty. The butterfly especially, I love how that looks and how the colors turned out. Can't see it as well on camera as you can in real life for some reason, but whatever. And I like how the flower turned out as well. And then I just have a list of some of my favorite artists right here, and I taped in a few butterflies from a card that I'd cut off the card, and I have a fortune cookie, fortune, which just says establish harmony and balance in your life, which I thought worked pretty well for this collage. And we have more bats. Look at how adorable he is. He's so happy. And then like all of these bat wings. And then I tried to draw the word bats, like using the bat wing pattern. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. This is a little hard to explain. This goes with my story. It's a symbol that I came up with. So to explain, I kind of visualize souls in a certain way, and this is what I call the soulmate heart, which is something for my story specifically. And the two different colors are two different characters' souls, but they're like going together into this heart pattern. I can expand on that a little bit more if I talk more about my story, but I just like how it looked a lot. And you might have noticed this symbol. It was drawn really small on that other page where I drew my characters. And you might see it again in here. This one looks really bad. Don't look at that. That was a really rough sketch. That just didn't turn out as well as I planned. And these are just really rough sketches of hands. I was trying to practice drawing them, and I'm not great at drawing hands, but I did my best here. I should practice them more often, because this is usually how they turn out. And then I have these, they're drawings of these like mannequin figurines that I have. They're like little plastic figurines of a dress on a mannequin, and I found them at a thrift store. There was 3 of them. They were all these like Victorian looking kind of dresses, and they're tiny little like plastic figure things. But anyway, I drew these, and this one is like what I was looking at, but with the colors changed. So the pattern is the same, but the colors look different on the actual mannequin thing. This one turned out okay. I had a little mess up here. It kind of bled through the page. This color that I used here bled through the page onto here. I'm probably going to try and draw these again sometime because I'm not like super thrilled with how they turned out, especially this one. This one's okay. And we have some more fashion sketches here. Just some like designs I had in my head. I like to draw these a lot. None of them are actually like designed in real life. They're just sketches. But I really like how this dress looks. And this one. And this one. And then here, this was an accident with my watercolors, but it kind of looks like a ghost, so I kind of just put a little note on there to like maybe use it in an art piece or something someday, because I like how it looks. Okay, and then I need to cover something up. Oh, here's my paper. Okay. I'm gonna cover up this next page because it's just way too personal and I don't want to show it on here. But this is my main character, Ariane. This is a more updated drawing from last year that I drew of her. I love how it turned out. It's my favorite one so far. I tried to make her look a bit more realistic looking than the previous drawings. So I hope that the next ones I draw of her look even better than this one. And this page really has nothing interesting on it. This is all just like receipts and stuff. Just kind of a garbage page. Just like a weird garbagey collage page, so there's really nothing to see here anyway. But then I have this brain rot. Probably how I was feeling at the time. Just drew a brain with some ooze, and that's it. That's all I need to say. That's all that describes it. Just brain rot. Just kind of some bad sketches, but I left them in here anyway because sometimes I like to do that to remind myself that not every art piece is going to be perfect, and sometimes we need to just leave in the imperfections because that's part of the process of learning. I mean, this was probably just a day where I was having some art block and didn't feel like drawing, and it just got really messy. That's usually what happens to these pages that don't look good. And anyway, this was based on a photo that I took of a flower, except I made it a little more abstract on this page, and I really like how it looks. I like to add weird black ooze to some of my drawings to make them look more abstract. If you've noticed, you probably have. And a lot of these, like, anything that looks like this in the background is all watercolor, because I just use that as an effect in the background a lot with my art pieces. And I think this was marker and watercolor. Let's see, this next page. This was just me trying to figure out some song lyrics on this side, so there's really nothing to see. And then we have like a rough sketch of just like some coffin art and some spirals. It looks nice. I might redraw this a little bit more detailed in the future, because this looks cool, but it's just like kind of a rough sketch sort of thing. It could be a lot better. And we have some practice with my Prismacolors. I especially really like drawing bat wings with them. For some reason, sometimes other things that I try to draw with colored pencils don't turn out as good. Like, I'm not sure if I like how this looks as much. They're okay. I just need to practice more with colored pencils. I'm not very used to them. But for some reason, when I draw wings, they turn out so well with colored pencils, so I just drew a bunch of them while I was practicing. And then there's like me doing a sketch of my amethyst piece that I own. And I was trying to draw crystals from memory without looking at a reference, but they don't look that great. They're kind of hard to draw if I'm not looking at a reference. So I'll probably need to practice more with that because I do like drawing crystals. They're pretty fun to draw. and some more sketches of a tree and a butterfly and some flowers. Like I said, there's a lot of those in here. And another butterfly, kind of an abstract, spirally looking sketch here. Maybe I'll make that into a painting or something, I don't know. And then it was like this 1-hour community drawing class that I wanted to check out at a local, like, place that's nearby. I wasn't really a fan of how the art class was, but this is what I came up with while I was there. It was for, like, drawing characters and human figures sort of thing. Just kind of a refresher for me. So, just some heads and body, and that's really it. Some shapes here. This is me practicing it on my own after I was done with the class, just because I felt like reviewing a little bit. And then here's a comic that I made. This was kind of a cute story. This is me and my fiance. There was one night where we were taking a walk in the neighborhood, and it was like evening, almost nighttime, so it was like starting to get dark, and there were all these bats that were just like flying around over us in the neighborhood, and it was adorable. They were like all over the place, so we were like super excited just seeing all the bats out. And this is kind of just like an over-exaggeration. I gave the bat a cute little face on the top. It says, "One evening on a night stroll," and then here's some of the bats, and then like here's me saying, "They're flapping past us to say hello. They must know we like them." And then Lance is saying, "Look at all the bats, my lady." Thought it was a cute little illustration to remember that memory, and I think I'm going to make a copy of this and put it in my scrapbook along with my other memories once I get there. I haven't gotten to that part of the scrapbook yet, but yeah. And I don't really like how she turned out. Her dress is kind of pretty, but not really a fan of the face. Just a random character sketch. I don't know. And then this is like more random doodles of wings. Really nothing special here. I don't really like this page that much, to be honest. I'm gonna move on. And again, same kind of thing here. More bat wings and flowers, basically. And I was kind of experimenting with a different art style here for this character. I don't really know what I think of it still. I like the colors. I don't know if I like how the face turned out, but whatever. She looks kind of sassy, I think. I don't know what her name would be, but I'm probably not going to redraw this or anything. So, oh. Don't look at that page. That page looks really bad. I didn't mean to show you that. That was kind of a mess up page. Here's some pen art of a tree, which I really love to do, because it just seems like it always turns out so well, and it seems like pen is a medium that works really well for me to draw with. I should do it more often. Anytime I'm drawing with pen and I end up drawing nature like this, this is how it turns out. So, I have no complaints about this one. That's just a very lovely piece. And me kind of trying to make a collage. This one wasn't as good as some of the other ones in here. I kind of just like taped some random things around here, and then here's a drawing that I taped in of a tree, which the drawing itself isn't that bad. It's just the page looks a little messy, but whatever. And we have some more dress sketches. I really like this one. This one's cute. I should like redraw this and color it in sometime. And then, more flowers and butterflies. I like this one. I like how the watercolor effect turned out when I painted it in with the watercolors. Sketching some spider webs, which turned out pretty cool, and sketching some more flowers, which I could probably color in, I suppose. They look they don't look bad or anything. And we have, so sometimes when I like to do a lot of like meditation and mindfulness and yoga, and a lot of that has like, sometimes I'll visualize things while I'm doing my mindfulness, and I'll like draw it. So this is like one of those things where I was just trying to draw something after I meditated, and I was having a lot of like negative thoughts and just like negative energy. It felt like there was a lot of negative energy around me at the time. So I was visualizing myself releasing negative energy, and then I just wrote that on here, along with a rough sketch of me meditating and releasing. This is supposed to be the negative energy coming out of me as I'm meditating. And here's another collage. Lots of bats. I drew these with a paint marker over top of like this other stuff that I glued in here. And this is like paper and gouache and stuff in the background. And then everything on the top part is white pen and purple paint marker. I like how that one turned out. It looks really nice. Kind of messy, but I like that messy collage look. Oh, here's that messy collage look again. So this was me practicing with gouache, because I'm not very used to gouache. I think I had just gotten one of my first kits with some colors I was trying out. And so I made this page, and it looks like a collage, but really the only thing I taped in were these words here: relearn imperfection, just because it looks like such an imperfect page. But I wanted to leave it like that as another like reminder that art isn't always going to turn out super perfect every single time. And I like how it looks anyway, so I think it's fine. I think it looks really cool. I like all the different colors and how messy they look together. And here's some swatches for my jelly gouache kit that I have, or jelly gouache set, I think would be a better word. Oh, and this is my last comic I have in here. This was another thing that happened in real life, so I don't know how well you can see it, but this was just kind of a joke, just something I thought would be funny to illustrate. This is my boyfriend, and he's at work in this sketch, or in this comic, and he likes to put a lot of like tools and things in his pocket while he's at work. So I have a sketch over exaggerating that. His boss and his coworkers like to make fun of him for having so much stuff in his pockets. So I have a picture, a drawing of like his coworker going, "How much shit do you keep in your pockets, Lance?" And then here's just him smirking because he thinks it's funny. And then this is like an over-exaggeration of all the things that aren't actually kept in his pocket, but I just like drew them because I thought it was funny. And you can't see it very well because it's not picking it up very well. But we have some birds here that are like saying, "We're free, freedom," as if they were stuck in his pocket. And a bunch of random shit that wouldn't actually fit in a pocket, but it's just a joke here. I don't know. I like to illustrate weird things that happen to me. I should do it more often. We have some notes here. These are just like some artists I saw at, or like I saw some artworks by them at an art place that I went to, and then some metal bands and like some ideas for a DIY metal jacket that I'm working on. And this is a piece that I'd like to make into a painting someday. It's like very intricate, detailed drawing of just like a tree with like a coffin border and then a bunch of spider webs and stuff around it. I was reviewing the fundamentals and principles of art just to remember them again, because it had been a while since I'd like refreshed on like remembering what they are, and it's just good for artists to know. And then a painting concept sketch. Again, it's not picking up the graphite too well, so I'm glad that I don't have a lot of graphite in this sketchbook here, but it's just like this lady's hair is turning into birds that are flying away, and I'm going to try and make that into a painting someday. And these are also painting ideas. I love how they turned out as sketches, but I definitely want to make them into paintings someday. I especially love this one. Her hair has just like covered in moths and butterflies, and I just thought that idea was very pretty. And this is like a bird skull with just a bunch of tree branches like around it, and a coffin border with some spider webs around it. I think these would make really, really beautiful paintings. Again, another butterfly. As you can see, I like to draw them a lot, and it's because I like that butterfly wings are so, like, you can do anything with them. You can change the color, the pattern, the design. You can make them different every single time, and I like the freedom of like changing it up every single time that I draw or paint a butterfly, because there's just so much you can do artistically with them, whether it's abstract or realistic looking. And I also like that butterflies symbolize freedom, which I like any animal or insect that has wings and symbolizes freedom, and I tend to draw them a lot. I just kind of gravitate towards them because I'm a free spirit, so it kind of makes sense to like creatures with wings, and they're also just very pretty. And this is just a list of butterflies that I'd like to draw sometime. I was looking through a nature book and I looked at a bunch of different types of moths and butterflies, so I just wrote them all down here. And we have some more sketches here. We have a cool looking tree, which it looks like it would be like in a fantasy world or something. Looks kind of whimsical. I like how it turned out. I like how these leaves have so much detail on the bottom here too. I gravitate towards drawing trees a lot because I've just had a lot of experience with drawing them over the years, and they've always been one of my go-to things that I like to sketch. And here's another tree. I like how that one looks too. Not so much the butterfly here. Again, probably another art block day where I just wasn't feeling like making anything great. Didn't turn out very well. That's why I didn't color it in or finish it. And kind of a bad sketch of trying to draw Howl and Sophie from the movie Howl's Moving Castle. It's a Studio Ghibli movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. But I don't think this turned out that great. It is kind of hard to replicate other artists and animators' art style sometimes, and I kind of have a problem with like replicating cartoon characters sometimes because it has to be very specific line work. So their faces just didn't really match up with what I was looking at. I'm probably going to try and draw them again sometime and hope that it looks better next time. And this is just a list of like art supplies that I like and that I use just as kind of a reminder of what I use and what I can replace in the future, like when I run out of stuff. I don't know. Here's a cute little raven. He looks so happy. I like how he turned out. And it's graphite. I have this like graphite stick that I was trying out, which worked out pretty well. And then more random doodles. Flower looks really pretty. Not really a fan of anything else on this page though. and you're gonna see quite a few of these pages now. This is me practicing with colored pencils, and I was practicing different effects and blending in like different shades and all of that. So this is mostly Prismacolor and a little bit of graphite here. I'm just doing some color swatches and things. Kind of an experimentation page. Same with this one. I did some marker swatches here. And just some wings and doodles. Practicing with the colored pencils again. Same with this page. More swatches of colored pencils. And this kind of bled through from the other page. And then I was bored at my boyfriend's parents' house, but I did this sketch of a kettle that was on their stove, and I did a sketch of this plant that was on their counter, and a light bulb, I think, and maybe like a can or something. So kind of just some life sketches here, and then some more random like swatches and things. I don't really know what this was. Some butterflies with colored pencil. This one looks kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of like feathers or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Now, I'm not used to drawing people with colored pencils, so I wasn't really sure how to blend this very well. It looks okay. It's definitely not my favorite. It could look a lot better if I knew how to blend with these a little bit better. And we have, this was some leftover paint from that I didn't want to waste from a painting or something. So I started putting it on the page and just like painting random things to use it up instead of wasting it. I like how the wing looks. And we have like a crystal or something here. And here's a picture. This is me and my fiance. And we're at a Renaissance fair, a smaller one, in like a smaller town nearby. And we took this really beautiful picture. So I did a little sketch of it. It's not completely spot on, it's not completely perfect, but I really like how it turned out still. It could use a little improvement, but I think it looks pretty close to the picture. I think it's cute either way. This is my art block page. I was just not really sure what to do. So this looks really messy. Just some random like crystals, a weird like vortex thing. I don't really know. And I just wrote art block is a bitch because it's true. Art block really is a bitch. And here's just ideas, list of ideas for when I do have art block that I taped in there, like later on I think. And then here I have more paint that I didn't want to waste, so I kind of put it like in the background and around here, like a border around this thing. And then here I taped this in. This was an idea for a painting that I made for a friend, and that ended up being a painting actually. It was a tiger lily with a butterfly. And I taped in this Sarah Anderson comic about art block because I thought it was really fitting and I thought it was funny. So, yeah. And then this is just another color swatch page. Just some markers that I got mostly. And a raven that I tried to draw with old markers. I think it turned out pretty cute. They were kind of hard to draw with though because they were so old and used up. They didn't work very well. This was like random paint that I was trying to make into images. I don't really know, like drawing over the paint for some reason because I was bored. Another weird experimentation thing. I don't really know. I do a lot of weird stuff in here to try and like help my creativity. I'm gonna cover up this page. These are just more random little doodles. I don't really have anything to say about them. this is just a list of artists that I liked, that I found from like DeviantArt and some art books that I bought. And then more sketches. I like this dress, it looks really nice. I kind of ran out of room to draw this moth. Not really sure if I like how this looks, but it's a good idea for like a different drawing. Maybe I could draw it a bit better somewhere else where I have more room. And then I've always liked the look of candelabras, and I'd really like to have one as a decor piece in my home one day. So I was drawing them from some reference photos online. I like how they turned out. Art block page. Although I don't exactly hate how this character looks. Just a random character that I drew. And then we have, this is a painting idea, which ended up being an actual painting. This was the first rough sketch of it. It just has to do with like my journey with spirituality and mindfulness and yoga and meditation, and just how I feel in general about like my journey with all of that, and how it makes me feel really positive, and it just has helped me like grow and feel better like over the years as I've gotten more into it after some hardships and things. So yeah, this ended up becoming a painting, and this is just a graphic sketch of a raven. He's kind of adorable. I like how he turned out. And like a list of things that I like to draw very often. And here's the second sketch of that painting, which looks a lot more true to how the actual painting turned out, except without the background. And I can show a picture of the painting. Maybe I can like insert a picture or something here. And then we have, I've always liked the look of keys, so I was like trying to draw different designs with them, with different images that I like. So we have like batwing keys and a butterfly key and a flower key. Some of these don't look that great. There's like a big spiderweb key, that one looks kind of cool. A spiral heart key. Just some random ideas I had in my head. This is a whole list of songs and bands that I really like. And this is more random sketches from work. This one and this one I drew when I was bored. And then I just drew these on the side later to fill in the page. And I glued that in. I haven't finished this yet. This might be a painting idea. I was trying to draw like a woman with like butterfly wings like in her hair and like a butterfly themed dress and then some wings here. I'd love to make that into a painting. I like the idea of that. This is just a list of like events that I was interested in, and otherwise this is just a page of like gouache swatches for different colors, and that's really all that it is. And then I have like some sketches of different hairstyles I was playing around with here, and this is like a to-do list. Pay no attention to that, that's really nothing important, but everything else is like sketches from work, or, well, this I just kind of sketched in, but there's like these dream catchers and like a tree, this little key here, spider, and on the back side I did more at work on this other side. And then that's the hairstyles. Some of them don't look that great, but whatever. And then I have like just random stuff on this page. Little sketches all over. Some swatches of gouache, I think. And this is me practicing a bit with the gouache, and some markers for the flowers. I like how this page looks. And some more pages of a bunch of random different sketches all over. And then this is just like a reminder of like all the different hobbies that I have that I can do when I'm bored and things that I am interested in. And we have another like kind of spiritual page of like mindfulness sort of stuff, spirituality sort of stuff that I kind of visualize. So like this is like a visualization of me unlocking my true soul, which I feel like I've kind of found myself a lot over the past couple years, so kind of makes sense to draw something like that. And I think I want to make this into a painting as well. And this is like the key for the soul, where it was like kind of just like locked up inside me, so the key is just like floating away forever so that I can never lock it up again. And then we have, let's see, so I was watching a video. It was by a YouTuber called Draw Sessions, and the video was spark your creativity with this simple daily sketchbook habit. And it was a video about like drawing random lines with a pen and then turning them into different like little drawings and creatures and things. So that's what I did on this entire page. Every single thing on here was from random lines that I drew. And some of them look kind of weird, some of them look good, some of them look bad, some of them are kind of creative. I don't know. I'd try this again. This was really a good exercise to get my brain going and getting more creative again when I was in an art block. So definitely go check out that video if you want to try this. It was kind of fun to try. I would recommend it. I like these drawings. These turned out really nice. These are both colored pencil. This is a photo my mom took of a swallowtail butterfly. So I drew it here with colored pencils, and I kind of ran out of room on the bottom. But for what I could fit on here, this looks really, really nice. I like how that turned out. And then we have like this random picture I found of, it's an Ecuadorian purple tarantula, which I think those look really wicked. They look really cool. I like the colors. They're very like pinkish purple and black. So I really wanted to draw one. I love how this turned out. And this was like stickers from a tattoo convention. I'm gonna cover this one up because there's nudity, but yeah, just a bunch of like random stickers and like random receipts. And there's another collage page, kind of like another spiritual kind of collage page. I was struggling a lot with negativity and negative thoughts, so I wrote focus on beauty, focus on the positives on this page. And then like this kind of goes along with that other page that I drew about my soul and the key. So it just says never lose my soul again, and I was kind of drawing what I visualized it to look like, and I kind of made it into a little collage here and on both sides. This kind of just helped me feel a lot more positive, and I like how these pages turned out, and I think they're really pretty. And I drew this butterfly, and I think this butterfly looks really nice. These are just random notes. Nothing important at all. These are just like TV shows and songs that I liked at the time. Or, well, that I still like now, but like that I was currently listening to or watching a lot. And just another like sketch of like a butterfly and like a soul with wings, and I wrote a little poem. It just says, my soul is like a butterfly, light, free, and always transforming. And I have some musical notes here. This is just a list of DIY projects that I want to finish, or if they're crossed out, that means I finish them, just to remember what I need to work on, because I kept forgetting all of the different projects that I have. And then I taped in a little quote from a Studio Ghibli movie called Kiki's Delivery Service. It's about, like, this character is an artist. She lives in the woods and she draws all the crows and jackdaws that live out there. And she's, like, telling the main character about how to get her inspiration back. And I like the quote that she said, and I really like that movie. I think it's a cute movie. I wish I could be this character sometimes, just chilling in the cabin in the woods, making art all the time, drawing the crows. It sounds amazing. Anyway, here's another collage, which is about how it's about my perspective on life being long. Because a lot of people say life is short, but I kind of see a lot of, like, negativity in that, because I think that human lifespans are actually very long compared to, like, animals usually, and I just don't like hearing life is short all the time. There's a lot of time to do a lot of different things in your life. Unless something unfortunate happens, you really do have a lot of time. So I just like to remember this quote. And I even wrote in some things in here about my perspective on the matter. And then this is a quote from a book that I was reading about, I think it was one of my yoga books. And I have more fashion sketches here. These are redraws of some fashion sketches from a different sketchbook. And then this is just kind of a random page. I was using some watercolor and gouache here with a bunch of wings and butterflies. And I have more collage pages. These are, like, a lot of things I taped in from work, from drawing at work. I kind of made them into a collage page here. Kind of colored them in after I brought them home. And then this is another collage page. These are those flowers from earlier on in the sketchbook. The same sort of design. I was drawing them again because I'd kind of forgotten about them, and I wanted to remember to keep drawing them because I like their designs. And this is like a napkin that I thought, I have a whole pack of them, and I thought they were too pretty to use as napkins, so I use them for collages. And I did a bunch of stamps and things, like, all over this page. Stuck in a bunch of, like, stickers, taped things in there. I'll explain what I have my hand over in a second, but these are just a bunch of wing sketches and a rose sketch, which I think looks really pretty. I love how this one turned out. This is really random. I just had like space on the page, so I stuck this in here. This is kind of a funny thing that doesn't really match up with the rest of the page, but I was at a restaurant with my fiance and our friend, and I don't know, like, what the context was or what they were talking about, but for some reason the topic of, like, if goats were to wear pants, what would they look like, came up. Like, they were, like, asking each other that for some reason. It was really random, and I thought it was hilarious. But they were doing these weird-ass drawings of goats with pants. So I was like, I have to save those and put them in here. I thought it was hilarious. Just completely out of nowhere. And then I drew my own little, like, sketch here after the fact. I really don't know what to say. Boys will be boys, I guess. They're dorks sometimes. And I have another page full of work sketches that I taped in. But you can't see this one because this is covering it up. This is just candles. And another page full of random things. I do like this moth though. That one turned out really nice. So did the tree. This is just kind of a random page, I suppose. Just like a list of my favorite movies here, and some songs that I've been listening to recently. Some of my favorite ones. And then this is like a really rough sketch that I might want to redraw sometime. This is like me surrounded by all of my interests, which, I don't know, this drawing didn't turn out very well, but I drew it a little too fast. I think that's why. So I have like a paint palette because I'm artistic, and some sewing materials because I like to do sewing and DIY. This didn't turn out very good, but this is supposed to be a person meditating because I like spirituality and mindfulness. And then I have some barbells because I like to work out a lot, and musical notes because I like to listen to music a lot. I have a microphone because I like to sing, and I actually taught myself how to sing like operatic soprano kind of vocals, and I'm very passionate about that. And I have a spider web and a bat because I like spooky things, and a flower because I like nature, and a tape and a CD because I like to collect physical media, and it's usually music related physical media, and a tree because I like nature and hiking. So yeah, maybe I'll make this into like the last page in my sketchbook, just like a artist page sort of thing or something. This page is like affirmations, just kind of a personal affirmations page. I'm gonna cover this page up because this is like way too personal to show, and I'm not comfortable with that. But here's another like collage page. Some stamps, some stickers. I drew this and taped it in, and then I taped this like cutout thing in. And I drew this, and the leaves kind of symbolize my growth over the years, up until like now. And we're almost to the end of the sketchbook. So I have, this turned out really cool. I did this a few days ago. This is watercolor in the background, and then I did some ink over it. Love how that turned out. This, I was trying to cover something up, and it was watercolor over it, so it kind of looks like a portal or something. And I think I'm going to repaint that and use it as art in my story that I'm writing, because that has something to do with a portal. I might even just use this piece. I don't know. It's like the same colors that I visualized for the portal in my story, so it would work. Getting out of an art block, so these didn't look the best, but just some like random sketches. And this is the last page for now. There's still like several pages left here, and then like an unfinished page at the back. But this is like an idea for my book I'm writing. I just thought of it today actually, and I did this sketch just out of the random, and I kind of like wrote about an idea I had for it. And this is like a random idea I came up with for a flower, and just like a random sketch, just like a batwing spiderweb sort of design for a flower. I thought it looked really cool. So yeah, that is the end of the sketchbook, other than this like random page with just like things I've taped in. They're mostly for shops that I like and things, and like a Sarah Anderson comic here. But yeah, I still have like 20 pages left in here, so maybe I'll like post an updated version of the sketchbook some other time. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was really long. I think usually these sketchbook tour videos take pretty long time to show everything. But if you got through this whole video, then I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope that maybe you saw something interesting in here that inspired you, or maybe you just enjoyed looking at some of the art that I've come up with over the years. And I think I'm gonna do more of these videos because I have like 4 or 5, 6 other sketchbooks that are finished that are older that I could probably make videos of. So yeah, I will probably post another video soon. And for now, have a good week and a good day. And I will make another video soon, and I'll talk to you later. So, bye.